Only the best for you guys.
Since, what is it, Massachusetts now is banning single service
You ready? Yes. I'd like to call this meeting of the Southbury Planning Commission to order. Regular meeting Tuesday, September 19th, 2023, room 205, 7 p.m. If everybody could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll seat Bob as an alternate. Thank you. Up first on the agenda, public hearing, special exception application, Alaska Company Coffee Shop, 586 Main Street South. Change of building use from retail store to a restaurant retail service. Anybody here for the applicant? Ah, okay.
Just come on up.
You might as well come up to the podium,
State
sure.
your name and your address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
State your name and your address.
Yeah. And then give us kind of like a 30,000-foot overview of kind of what you want to do, and then we'll have some questions.
Okay, my name is Julie Hunt,
Mhm.
and I am looking, it's
586?
586 Main Street,
Mhm.
Southbury. And it was previously the Chainsaw Unlimited. Any more information?
What are you looking to do? What's
Oh.
the basis of your business? What are you guys looking for?
Okay, actually, I'm looking to put in a grab-and-go coffee shop, and I am from Alaska, so I want it to be Alaska-themed.
Nice.
And it has like a cozy atmosphere, and being able to have retail in there, majority of it is retail. And that is what I'm currently planning to do, would be like, just pastries, heat up kind of things, kind of just minimal, like 2 seating, not really, trying to focus on seating in there, just kind of like grab your coffee, grab your, pastry, and go ahead and shop a little bit while you're in there, and go ahead and, enjoy your moment in there, because the scenery will be really nice. And I think it would be a nice place for the town. I don't really see any cozy coffee shops around, so I think that's what I'm proposing to give you guys. I don't know if you have any more questions.
Anyone have questions on the commission for the applicant? Anything? Rob?
Will there be cooking or any food preparation in the facility?
Just kind of like a microwavable flash cooking, very quick. Nothing.
No
you know,
bakery?
No,
aspect
nothing
or-
like that.
Okay.
Just really like to work with the local vendors, so.
Mhm.
Ron?
You mentioned something about shopping. You're going in there. I'm reading the thing, and it's a very small space. What kind of, I mean,
What kind of stuff in there?
yeah,
Is that what you're
what
asking?
kind of shopping are they gonna do? I mean,
There's enough room in there for like, we're having like decorative items, stuff for your fireplace, different, like boutique type stuff, things that men and women can both enjoy, like hats, gloves, things that you can use on a regular basis. But also some fun,
This whole thing?
different articles from, like where Alaska is, maybe some fun hunting, things that you might not see out here, or different things like that, so.
I'm looking at it, and it says the patron area is 970 square feet.
Mhm.
That's not very big.
It's mostly, if you walk in there, there's plenty of room to be able to walk around and have like shelving on the walls. Is that the area you're talking about, like the main retail area? Do you see
retail
the
area
little?
would be the area I'm talking about. You're gonna have 4 tables there, right?
What are our thoughts?
No, I actually minimized that. It's, there's a reception desk where people can buy, the cash register is, and
We
then
have to choose
shelving
one.
along the walls, and just a few in the, center so people can, shop there. So there'll be plenty of walking room, but, enough room for shopping in there.
In other words, people are not gonna sit there and,
Not really.
It's like grab and go kind of.
Kind of grab and go, so there's a couple tables. I'm not really sure which one you're looking at as far as,
I'm looking at the application,
okay.
mentioned somewhere in here about, seating.
Yeah, we minimized it. I'm not really sure exactly, but I do know that I've minimized it to like maybe 3 to 4 seats in there at the most, but nothing really, I don't really want people to feel like, there's not going to be a lot of room for really sitting. I'm not really focused on that. I'm focused mostly on, people being able to shop in there and enjoy themselves and then go, and grab a cup of coffee and a pastry in there.
Because I'm looking at the last line, the last paragraph. It says, it's for four patrons, 80 square feet. Take 80 square feet from 970, that's not gonna leave you a heck of a lot of room.
I guess, has Jordan talked to you a little bit about the retail space versus the food space and the parking, and how it all correlates together, where we kind of can't have both? We gotta kind of pick a square footage based on that. Have you had any thoughts about that?
Yes, I do. And I'm not really quite sure what you guys are looking at right now, because I'm not looking at it myself.
Well, we're looking at town regulations
Oh,
based
okay,
on
sure.
size of the
Oh,
building,
gotcha.
the space, and, what you can do in this retail space based on the use you want to do there regarding retail and/or food, and then the amount of seats versus the amount of parking,
Right.
right? The more people that sit, the more parking. So we're gonna kind of have to,
Listen, if I could
Parlay the
just
two
even
together.
have it grab and go and no seats, that's fine with me. Like
kind
honestly.
of have to let us know what you want, so we can
Sure.
kind of work this around this, because we have a little bit of leeway room to move, but we have to kind of follow the rule at the same time.
Absolutely.
And the fire marshal is really the one we have to go by on the space on
Right.
this.
Okay.
Sure. Come on up. State your name and address.
How you doing? I'm Joe Lasky, and this is revolving 586 Main Street South. I'm Julie's husband.
Sure.
So the way that building is set up, kind of like I'm on one side doing almost like the same type of thing that was already there with chainsaws and loom, and I'm just using my tree service out of it, just kind of using it like a little garage right now. But I was telling Julie, I'm like, you know what, babe? Why don't you just take the whole place? So she's probably going to have double that room, just so you know.
That's not the
That's
application.
that
right
part of
now,
the
we
app-
gotta stick
But
to
right now,
application.
it's not like, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, you
We're
know,
sticking-
if
Something
that
you wanna-
ultimately is
That's
gonna
what
be
you
an
want to ultimately
issue.
do, then we just have to stop here, and you have to redo with the application, if that's truly the case. Then we won't come up short with some of these numbers that we're looking at. Does that make sense? Jordan?
So the numbers that we're coming up short with right now is related to the standard 7.3. And it states that any takeout food service restaurant shall occupy a floor area of either no more than 800 square feet or not more than 20% of the total floor area of the building. That pretty much limits Julie to either 800 square feet for her takeout food service
Yep.
aspect of the business, Or we would have to relate it to the total floor area, which wouldn't be the lesser of these two numbers, so it would have to be the 800 square feet. Determining whether or not the retail aspect and the food aspect, it's really just measuring those two and weighing them out, or combining them as a single entity and looking at the application as a whole. Frankly, that's how I see this. The two coincide with one another, so the whole occupancy and the whole floor plan needs to be accounted when you're looking at the takeout food service, and the whole floor plan needs to be accounted when you're looking at the retail side of it. So that's really the breakdown of the numbers that unfortunately don't match as of right now that I've seen in the regulations and as represented on the site plan.
And if we don't kind of help you choose or choose for you, the fire marshal will. So we have to decide what makes sense. So you tell us what you want and what you're really gonna do. And if that is your thought or your dream here to take the whole building, well, then it may make sense for you to do, revise your application. Because once you got this approved, if you want to change and make more space, you got to come back again.
Right.
So that's just another public
Right,
hearing and
and
another.
if you guys ended up with the entire area for retail space and you wanted to portion off a small 800 square foot area for the beverage takeout portion of it, that would fit the standards.
Right.
Having the more,
It would be separate.
having the more room obviously is gonna work more in her favor, I would imagine, right?
Can't hear you,
Yes,
what?
we can't hear.
I'm sorry. Having the more room for her is going to, be in her favor, I would imagine, correct? Like right now, in her parameters, is she able to do what she wants to do or no?
It's tight, but she'd have to kind of decide, is it more retail or is it more food?
It's more retail.
All right,
You
then
have
that,
to be specific.
so you have to be very specific on that. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm not on the application, but I definitely, in my mind, it's more retail.
Okay.
Minimal of the coffee and the takeout, and the retail is majority.
Okay.
If we couldn't get the takeout aspect, restaurant aspect, as it's stated here in 7.3 approved, would you be willing to modify your business plan to only include retail and remove the takeout aspect, at least as of right now, while you figure out the overall floor plan and footprint and whether or not an
Yes.
800 square foot coffee shop could maybe come in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
So then you have to amend your application.
Right, if you take the whole space and do the two things
Yeah.
and make them separate, or maybe we can get them into one if there's enough space on it, that would be different, but you have to revise the app to do it.
But we can't write your application.
Right.
You have to do that, yeah.
You have to tell us what you want to do in the application and how much space of the building you want to use, and then we'll get it done for you. Ron?
What everybody's saying is absolutely right. It's awful tight in the restaurants. If, in fact, you could back up some of the space that you're using, so that we go from 970 square feet in the front and
Turn on your mic. People can hear you.
Sorry about that. Got my hearing aids in so I can hear good, so. Anyway, we can't write your application, and we're not attempting to write your application. We're just trying to tell you that there's a problem here. Whether it's a problem with us, or whether it's a problem with the fire marshal going forward, there's going to be a problem, because it's much too tight. Okay, now,
Not really that.
whatever you do, you're gonna have to rewrite, I can't write it for you, and I can't say that you gotta rewrite it, but it just doesn't fit.
It doesn't meet our regulations, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's exactly it.
Which
Yeah.
is
The
what
easiest thing to do is just revise your app if you want to do that. And
I
it'll
don't
work out
want to
for
do that right now. I mean, have your space at this moment. So, I mean, if I don't,
Your
I do
space.
want to stick with it. I want to continue on. I've
Stick with the space.
Okay.
been leasing this out for over a year, and I just need to
Get it
push
done.
through and not concern myself with adding more things on at the moment. And later on, I can reapply for this other side, if that's okay
course.
with you guys. Thank you.
To clarify, you will be moving forward with this application, but you will be amending it to only include retail?
Okay, so
You want to know how to get it done to have both?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's not approvable.
Okay,
right.
now the,
We do.
excuse me, am I speaking right now?
No, they were about ready to.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
saying,
Increase
right
it.
now, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's what they're
It's-
trying to say.
It's,
Only because we're not allowed to be, based
It's-
on the law of the town, you know, the zoning laws on this, and the fire marshal won't allow it, so we have to figure out what to do on this end.
If there's
Is it
no seating in
Because
there?
they're seating?
no, precisely, it's
Okay.
because there's
That makes
takeout food
Yep.
as a part of the application, as a part of the business,
Okay.
and right there caps you at 800 square feet,
Right.
just
They
because
only
it's
have
takeout food.
170 square feet.
Which is
to work
why-
with retail. That's why they're saying,
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
So if you were to drop the food aspect of it,
Okay,
even for the time being, the 800 square feet is no longer an issue as it relates to this application because there's no more food service being proposed. And we have to handle this application just as retail, which is still permissible in that area, pending a special exception approval by this commission.
Or the flip side, if it was all a coffee shop and no retail, it would fit the parameters.
Then it would have to be reduced to 800. Takeout maxes you at 800,
800 square
So you
feet.
can't even have 970 square feet?
not if it's takeout. Not if your business is takeout food service. And I can reiterate it for you one more time. Any takeout service restaurant shall occupy a floor area of no more than 800 square feet.
So you'd have to
Or-
augment the other stuff into storage.
Right, yeah, if you guys wanted to just do takeout food service, let's say right now, you gotta take that 1,200 square feet of floor area that you represent on your site plan, reduce it to 800, and we're in here having the same discussion, but it matches the parameters. And the commission can move forward with approving it, subject to obviously questions and answers and lining up of all the details. But it really ends up being that square
It's one or
footage.
the other.
How much more are they gonna need if they took over the husband's section to get the retail in?
So,
How much more square footage?
right, if you took over Joe's side of things and just made it all retail, that's kind of why, the idea came up of if the whole thing ended up retail, you may be able to break off an 800 square foot portion at a later date and open up your coffee shop. Because it's takeout, it matches the parameters for takeout, it's approvable via a special exception in this zone, and you're already doing retail. It would just be not in the same kind of unit. You would separate the units into two, you'd have your retail side and a coffee side. They could even be of the same aesthetic. You could have your goal of the Alaska Company, ethos, but the square footage would match, and therefore the commission could approve
And
it.
800 is max, it can be less than that, correct?
Correct.
okay.
So you could have a little, small little spot.
You get a one-way door between the doors?
We're gonna
Okay.
need a revised
I
application.
couldn't see one now.
They're gonna have, no matter what they do.
We cannot, I'm just providing
Yeah.
advice to the applicants as it stands right
Yeah.
now.
It's clear to them, though.
Yeah, I'm not revising your application, and thus far, you guys have also not revised your application.
Correct.
So it's on you
Yep,
to
totally up to
handle
you.
that
let
aspect
us
of
know.
it, but, wanted to help and provide you that information and make the regulations understandable.
We can hold the public hearing open till next month if you want. And, right, we have time,
No,
65?
you absolutely have
Yeah.
time, and to add on to this point,
Right.
Julie has done a lot of legwork as far as getting a lot of the approvals that are necessary, and she's been having a real time with the health department. And getting her septic certified has been quite a process. So they have landed, and Julie and I had spoke today, actually, on digging up the septic to ascertain the overall size of the septic, because it's the last check mark that the Department of Health needs in order to certify their site plan.
For the coffee aspect, not for retail, correct?
You are correct.
Wow.
You'd have to talk to the health department to
Yep.
see what information they need for a retail aspect, but amending the application again is on you guys, as it stands right now.
Just let us know what you want to kind of do tonight here, so we know what to do to help
Can you guys give me just one moment to speak to him outside for a
Sure.
moment? Is that okay?
Another question too about the parking, right?
Yeah, the parking, that people gotta park in the
Parking
back.
is tight, but frankly, the parking can meet our standards depending on what avenue this commission wants to look at it
Right,
from.
but if you were adding parking,
In the rear.
parking was already approved on somebody else's application. So you can't use that on your application.
I think the parking in the rear is a non-starter as it stands,
It's,
anyway.
pardon me?
I believe the parking in the rear, based on conversations with the applicant, is a non-starter.
Non-starter?
Correct.
What does that mean?
Just based on the owner of the property isn't willing to relinquish the rear portion of the property for additional parking.
That's not a.
Am I
an
correct?
option for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's only for, he would probably only allow employee, that not for, people to, the front is for people to come.
We would have to get some kind of a statement from him, because since it was approved with somebody else's application, for him to allow you to use the same places, same parking spaces, we would have to get something in writing.
Yeah, that's,
Is there a minimal or maximum amount of
Well,
parking spaces required?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes, there is,
Okay.
which we have put on there already.
And it would
We
make
have-
sense
we
if you have
have-
employees
yes,
parked
we
out
have
back
some.
and you got
Mhm.
permission, that would help you out.
So
Yeah, you
that's
don't-
another issue that you need
you only
to
got
address
3
in the-
parking spaces in the front, really.
Did you see
No,
the
There's so
layout?
much more room there.
So, to Joe's point, there's a lot of room. However, to Julie's point, her and I worked on the site plan together and measured everything out to make sure it met the parking standards. And the maximum amount that we could get in, based on the site plan we had, which is a relatively old site plan, was, I believe it was 6, with an ADA parking represented.
3 employees.
You were right, Ron, and that's why, I believe it's the summary.
I can probably get a statement from the owner, we could park in the back with
Right.
the employees.
I had mentioned that
That would
would
help
be,
out tremendously.
Hugely
Yeah,
beneficial.
that would
He's
solve
very
your
flexible.
problem.
Yeah.
so, yeah.
so we will just have to see what
So you have
avenue.
5 regular, 1 ADA in the front, that's fine, that would work.
That's okay, yeah. There's areas along Main Street South with similar size
Smaller.
businesses
Right.
that have similar parking situations. I don't think it's out of this, world, and it meets the standards based on what this commission wants to choose.
Any
Can-
other questions for the applicant? Anyone in the,
We'd like it to be more simple, but we have regulations that we can't,
yeah, we can't, we'll get
because
to,
then we do it for everybody and everything goes up.
So would you like to leave the public hearing open, allow them a moment to
yes, please,
speak
gonna
among
talk for a minute?
themselves?
Okay,
Yes, please.
thank you.
And then we'll go to the public when you come back, to make sure there's any comments and, okay?
It's like Shark Tank.
But they can't amend their application, we can't amend the application.
No, we can't.
We
for 'em.
cannot.
No, but they can if they want.
In writing, yeah.
Yeah, of course, they'll have to come back, yeah. Or we're giving the client 1 minute, applicant 1 minute.
Thank you.
I got enough paper. You can have the paper, Bob. I've got enough.
Okay, can you move this back?
I should
Send it
probably,
over there?
they sent
They
it.
saw it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so maybe it goes back to the applicant.
So it's hers, right? No. All right, thanks. Thank you. Okay. Thanks.
Come on now. She graduated, they're both out.
Wow,
Yeah,
good for you.
yeah,
Now
she's
what?
she's a large animal veterinarian now, and she's in residency, so it's good. My oldest is a 3rd-year fellow for neonatal medicine at Yale, so she has another year to finish, and then she's in attending. So,
Excellent,
yeah,
yeah, good for you.
yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
We gotta get him back in here.
yet?
Yeah, I responded to you. Yeah, with Connecticut DOT and
There's gonna be one
any
of these days
project
you're
that
gonna
they
come in
have
with
to do that
a party
involves
hat on.
wetlands, they go
Because
through the
the fence will be done.
DEP, and that permitting form is the DEP's standard inland wetlands form.
Okay,
So-
doesn't it have to go before,
Okay. You got it? Oh, you want?
doesn't it have to go through Pura or the water companies too?
Yeah, no, they sent it to everyone.
I mean,
Yeah, let's get them back in here and move right along here.
do you go to any of that stuff?
I didn't have a chance to.
Done a good job.
Receiving this only.
So we thank you for your patience, you know, we are,
Receiving.
We're new
you
at
know,
this.
this is our first rodeo.
Okay.
So.
Your
go ahead,
thoughts?
babe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to reapply,
Remodify.
remodify my application
Sure.
and for the whole
The whole building.
The whole building.
Yeah.
Smart.
kit and caboodle.
It's a great area. You should.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I think it's
nice.
wise,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it's a very nice, yeah, very wise.
And then
So
we
what
could
you'll
go
do
from
is,
there.
you'll obviously go back to see Jordan, and we'll get the application revised, and you come up with, you know, your verbiage, is what you want to put on the application.
Okay.
So we'll close this public hearing, and then we'll have to have another one, separate application.
Right, so if you're gonna continue the public hearing, then we are up against the timeline if
65 days, right?
65 days, and the applicant can extend it. So,
But do we need to do public hearing for the same application if she amends it?
no, you will continue the public hearing today.
New public hearing? Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a new application.
With, it's an amended application.
I don't think so. I think it's a new application.
But we can't,
Is that change?
What is?
Signage, parking,
Parking's not gonna change.
it's gonna be combined now with another.
Right, and this is gonna be two businesses then.
Are you, is it gonna be the full building, all retail? Or are we doing both with what we have discussed more or less here today? Small-
Retail and restaurant,
Right.
right? Is that the road you want to continue to try to go down right now?
You wanna do the coffee shop for 800
Retail
square
with a
feet?
small 800
Because
square
now
foot
you have
restaurant.
enough room
Retail.
to really make it
Yes,
happen.
I do want to continue that.
Okay.
so why don't we come
What
back,
about your
why don't we come
business,
back to
though?
17th?
He's out of there.
Whatever, I'm out.
It's
I
just
kick him out
storage.
right now.
So kick me out
We
right
only
now.
need two applications, that's it.
I'll keep him at home, but I'll kick him out of there.
Yeah.
Right, we will need
Business
two
first.
applications. So as,
Same public hearing.
right, yeah, it'll be,
So we're gonna need two applications then, okay? We can use a lot of information we have, one for the retail, one for the coffee shop, okay? And we'll do them both under the same public hearing, under the same, same venue, right? I think we can do that,
Mhm.
and get away with that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, if you agree to that, I'll close the public hearing tonight, and then you'll do the paperwork, and we'll try to get you back on for October.
Okay.
17th, right?
Withdraw, she has to withdraw,
She has to withdraw the application. Yes, yep.
okay, if the,
And you're gonna resubmit with what you want.
at the next meeting.
at the next meeting.
Yeah, there's no way to continue it unless you guys denied it or they withdraw it.
Yeah, no.
All right, so if you'll just tell us you'll withdraw your application, I'll close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
So the process moving forward, so you guys are clear on what you are being asked and what's happening. You will be now applying for two separate applications, because it's
Okay.
gonna be technically two businesses and two units within the same building.
Okay.
We'll handle the public hearing process all at the same time, take your application in kind of at the same time, but two separate applications. Given that today we've started the process and we're in a public hearing of the current application, two options need to happen. Either you will withdraw the current application and then resubmit the new two applications at the next meeting, or this commission will have to deny this application, and then you would come, it's really a formality, but this application needs to cease so that the statutory timelines don't continue, and we would restart at the next meeting with the two applications for the full building, two businesses.
So the first option is probably the easiest
Yeah,
here.
okay, so just
Just tell
withdraw
us
the
on,
application.
that you want to withdraw your application, and I'll close the public hearing,
Yeah.
because you're going to reapply.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Okay. If that is the easiest way, I prefer it, yes.
Okay, so just tell us that, just
Gotta
say.
say
Oh,
it
I
out of your
do.
mouth.
I would like to withdraw my application
Okay,
and then reinstate my,
you're going to so you're going to reapply.
reapply, I'm
Right.
sorry, for my next two applications.
Perfect.
You guys
Is
are
that
still
correct?
working on health department and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll have everything squared away
That's
come
it.
the next
Yeah.
meeting. And,
Yeah.
questions were brought up.
Meeting's the
You guys
17th.
have,
Okay.
potential answers to those, and we'll hit it at the next one.
I think so.
Okay.
So we'll just need that in writing too, tomorrow to Deb, okay? Or Jordan, or we need it,
Sure.
okay?
Shoot either Deborah.
Do you need that right now?
No, you can do that tomorrow.
fine.
Okay, gotcha.
Tomorrow's
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You can do it now if
Okay.
you want, yeah.
Okay, whatever.
All right.
I'm into that.
Thank you, so we're going to close,
So we're in closing?
yeah, we're going to close the public hearing, thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to close the public hearing for Alaska Company, 586 Main Street. The applicant withdrew their application. Thank you. All right, under unfinished business, we will,
Tuesday.
yep, skip this and put it on for next month's meeting, after the applicant applies for a new application in a public hearing. Moving right along, under new business,
Yeah, you're next.
Oh, he said he was moving on to new business.
Other business.
other business. I haven't gone yet. Next. Jeez. No problem. Continuation site plan modification for Playhouse Corner, 77 Main Street North, additional directional signage. Discussion and decision for the commission. You're up.
Sorry about that. I heard new business.
Oh.
Lori Grabowski, 33 Old Field Hill Road. I own Southbury Kitchens and I own Unit 111. And I have a letter authorizing me to speak on behalf of the Board of Directors for Playhouse Corner Incorporated, Playhouse Corner Incorporated.
And what are you guys looking to do?
So what we're trying to do is add directional signing, it's called, for the, entrances, the one off Oak Tree Road and the one off Main Street North. We laid it out so that it's similar to what's at Union Square is a good example. That was done when I had a business there. We felt, my son's a first responder, and nobody knows where they are when they're at Playhouse Corner. No one can find it. I had documented this, and you guys probably read it. So elderly people are looking for doctor's appointments. People that are new to the area are looking for the health district. People are looking for my business and others. And there's nothing to indicate that our address is 77 Main Street North, except we do have the sign out on the lawn that's always been there with the masks on it, that graphic for the Playhouse. But there's a lot of confusion. And we just feel, I'm an admin for the association as well as an owner, and we feel that it would be really helpful to people to identify the plaza.
This was superseded to reduce that to a foot.
I don't see a problem with it. Good. All right. Anyone have any?
We have a letter in here from the fire marshal.
Excellent. Any questions for the applicant? Anyone on the commission?
Find it.
The letter from the fire marshal? It's on record.
In favor of this.
Is there a mock-up or anything of what it looks like?
Yeah, there's a
that
whole
what Jordan has?
packet.
As long as it's, things are in requirements, conditions, no conditions.
That down.
And we have a letter from the fire marshal as well saying it we met the regulations, so that's fine.
It's a letter from the fire marshal stating a need for.
It's his inspection report is saying that we don't have adequate address indicators or markings for the property. So what we were looking to do is they would be 30 inches wide, the sign would be 14 inches, so this is 12, so picture another 2 inches. It would say 77 Main Street North, that's all, it's very simple. It would be black on white, and they would be installed, one, when you pull in into Oak Tree Road, Subway's behind you. It would just be, it would be a double there, so that you would see it the way you need. I have it drawn in here, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the place with this. I just got off a ship the other day, and I'm still rocking, thanks to the hurricane. We need it shaped kind of like an L so that when you're pulling in, you see it from different places. When you're coming in kind of from Oak Tree, you see it also. So that's the one that we're looking to make 2 signs with 1 pole in the middle. And then the one over at Main Street North, thank you, would be this, but 2-sided. And of course, everyone's going in one direction, but you would see it from the other side of Main Street North if you were kind of looking. But generally, this would be the most useful to the people coming south on Main Street North. And they would look attractive, and they would look like the one at Union Square. And Jordan, where else did we see these?
Heritage Development's another one, and
Yeah.
right across the street at 56 Main Street South.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Old Field has these as its entrance,
Yep.
the community I live in. I'm sorry, Robin?
No, you have them here that said Heritage Development and Sitco.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
So
Yes, what about lighting?
they would not be lit. They would, just a figure a headlight would aim at it, and that would be what illuminates it.
Thank you.
Ron, Bob, anything on that side of the table? Anything? No? Robin, anything else? No? Anyone else for the applicant? Any questions? So, that's good, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we have to make a decision tonight. I don't see a problem with it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? No. No one? Okay, let me read the resolution. Let's see, resolution for 77 Main Street North, Zone B2C, Playhouse Corner, site modification. Site plan modification, whereas the Southbury Planning Commission on 8/15 received an application for site modification dated 8/15/2023. Whereas proposed site modification would allow the addition of 2 address directional signs installed with 2 entrances and exit locations on the property. Whereas the commission has received requisite approval from the Houstonic Health Department dated 8/18/2023 to construct 2 signs as shown in the plan dated 8/3/2023. Whereas the commission finds the proposed use as indicated by the applicant to accommodate the addition of 2 directional signs. In keeping with pertinent regulations, the town of Southbury's Plan of Conservation Development, now therefore be resolved at the Southbury Planning Commission, the application is approved to allow the installation of 1 double-faced sign placed in the center island along the eastern property boundary. The second single-face sign with 2 wings is installed along the western side of the northern entrance along Oak Tree Road. Both locations are more accurately represented on this submitted plan stamped received by the Land Use Department on 9/5/2023. Subject to the following. A, the submission of the approval of permanent sign application to the zoning department and building department. Further, it be understood that the change of structure, use, or the construction or additional signs will require a new application and a review by the town of Southbury. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? It's all set, passed. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy to help.
Okay, let's see here. Under new business, re-subdivision, Willow Creek Estates, PDD number 19, lot 8, 9, 10, and 11, currently 1 parcel, receiving this only tonight, right, I guess, or Mark's actually here.
Mark is here, yeah.
I'm going to actually recuse myself and seat, Bob is seated, and Nancy will take over. What's that?
You are only receiving it.
Mark's already receiving it, yeah, I just, what we really want to do is get scheduled for the public hearing,
Wonderful.
you know, so, I mean, this is an old job, we know, it goes all the way back to 2005, and they're
Yep.
finally getting traction up there, and these lots have been hanging for a while, so.
When's our next meeting?
Public hearing would be in October 17th, I think.
17th, yes.
Okay.
So I'd really just like to get motioned as, you know, we've submitted things to the health department and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So really want to get on the docket for the public hearing, which will
Need
be
a
next
motion
month.
for that. We'll just schedule a public hearing for October 17th,
17th,
7
yeah.
PM.
And that would be awesome.
Thank you.
That would be awesome to be able to do that. Everybody wants to go home. So,
Got it.
okay.
Thank you, Mark.
How you doing, kid? Not yet. I want to look like you.
All right, I will reseat myself, thank you. Under other business, 8-24, Board of Selectmen referral, request to donate property on 853 Fish Rock Road. Query map number 31, block 60, lot 8EC. What you got there, buddy?
I got a memo for you all. I believe it was sent out, but I will read it into the record.
I don't remember seeing it.
No, not a problem.
Yeah.
On August 22nd, 2023, the First Selectman submitted an 824 referral to the Southbury Planning Commission requesting a recommendation related to the donation of land situated alongside Lakeside Road. Submitted alongside this request to donate a certain portion of property is a site location plan. This plan marks out the approximate location of the portion of property that is desired to be donated to Southbury. Utilizing the GIS area measure tool as well as the 2016 contour lines map layer, I calculated the approximate area of land proposed to be donated to be roughly 0.82 acres. Furthermore, the owner represents that the intent for donating the portion of property is as a result of the property being largely unusable to the owners, likely due to the steep topography throughout the entire area of the parcel proposed to be donated. A review of our town ordinances revealed that there is no procedure or requirements to review in order to determine what is the best course of action when the town is being offered a donation of a portion, all or a portion of land. The area of regulations that provides the most guidance is within section 4.18 of the subdivision regulations, which I have provided below. And 4.18 states, open spaces, parks, and playgrounds. Open spaces, parks, and playgrounds shall be provided and reserved in all residential subdivisions as deemed necessary and in locations deemed proper by the commission as follows. So deemed proper by the commission is really the nature of that regulation that I wanted to point out for your consideration. And 4.18.1, character and access. The land reserved shall be of such size, location, shape, topography, and general character as to be useful to satisfy the needs determined by the commission. The land area reserved for open space as required in subparagraph 4.18.3 may contain areas of wetlands as determined by certified soil scientists and steep slopes in excess of 25%, provided that the percentage of land in these categories does not exceed the percentage of land in these categories for the entire tract. Proper pedestrian and vehicular access shall be provided. Each such reservation, the location of such land shall take into account the solar access of the entire subdivision as deemed necessary by the commission as follows. Based on the language with section 4.18 and the representation of the nature and usability of the property proposed to be donated, it is my recommendation that the planning commission render an unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Selectmen for acceptance of this property be donated.
All right, anybody have any questions?
I would agree that this is unfavorable.
I also,
But anything else, it would just be a pain in the neck for the town to maintain it. There's nothing about dumping or hazardous waste, there's no access, there's no useful,
no community use for this piece of property.
exactly, it's too steep to develop, it's, everything. So I would send forward that information to the Board of Selectmen. It's our recommendation to deny the donation
Finally.
motion.
So we have Nancy Clark with a negative recommendation back to the Board of Selectmen to not acquire the land. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'd like to say why in our
Sure.
recommendation, just a couple of things, that it doesn't abut anything else useful, that it's, which is required, that there was no access. Those are the two main, public access and public use.
There's really no
Use and
community,
access, understood.
Understood, yep.
no really
Excellent. So we'll get,
community utilization.
Yep.
For community utilization, would you like that included as well?
sure.
As
We'll
well
get
as
a-
community
We'll get a
utilization.
letter or note back off to the Board of Selectmen with our findings of this being a negative for the commission. Okay, all right, thank you, everybody. All right. Under other business, section 14, reconstruction discussion. Anybody, or Jordan, do you have an update for us on that, or?
So you were all handed a correspondence from the DOT regarding a a wetlands application. This is simple notifications to municipalities regarding the work that they're proposing. It does involve work within and the wetlands and upland review areas, and therefore submission to the DEP through this form is required, and they are providing notice to all the related commissions, so. Really not too much else to be discussed as far as that one goes.
I did say to you, this says water permit on it.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that too.
It's for reconstruction of and landscaping of exit 14. Water permit is something that's addressed in our POCD. We are a sewer avoidance community, and once water comes up there, from where, who knows what water company, it has to go to DEP, true. But I think we have to be very careful on extending our water and sewer lines for density of construction, and I'd like to make sure that that's addressed. Because that's what our POCD says, it's our emphasis.
No, I don't believe this has any correlation to septic or water usage. This is simply the DEP's form for permitting work to be done in upland and wetland areas.
I agree, I wish it said wetlands instead of water permit.
I had to call the DOT just to certify that this was their boilerplate form from the DEP for simple wetlands aspects of permitting, so that was confirmed by them.
Okay, we want to be
It
careful,
has
definitely.
been proposed, make it really clear, because it has been proposed previously to bring water line up that way and then sewer after that, so it should be perfectly clear. That's not in our POCD.
Understood?
Okay.
I'll review the correspondence for any call-outs for water lines in addition. And if there's anything related to that, or even indicating something along those lines, I will notify the DOT and request more information related to that aspect of it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, moving right along. Let's see, Middlebury Distribution Center memo discussion. Let's see, where are we at with that?
We had from COG.
We have this letter from COG, that's about it, right?
That's it, yeah. The moratorium was rescinded
Yep.
at the last meeting, if you guys saw the paper. So they are moving forward with a variance application, and NVCOG has submitted a report as a result of that. That's pretty much where that stands.
And COG says in their report, their last public hearing last week said they wanted to increase it to 5 stories from 3 stories.
I saw
And
that.
COG said that's fine. I don't agree. Because
I've-
then it's more storage, more traffic, more
Yeah, I
light
couldn't agree more.
pollution, more.
I've reached out to the zoning enforcement officer of Middlebury, just to have a candid conversation about what's going on with the application, get an understanding as adjoining municipalities, and kind of have a co-working relationship. I've heard nothing back from them, and I, at this point, don't anticipate it. Just based on what I've reviewed in all of the minutes, it seems that they're full speed ahead with this, and it,
They are.
yeah.
They are.
The
but
Board of
we
Selectmen
still-
had a conversation about it, and I listened, I was at the meeting, and they did talk about, you know, traffic. Well, our letter that we sent them was addressed,
Mhm.
just to be specific, regarding the traffic coming off exit 16, you know, the estimates that we're hearing are 50 trucks an hour, you know, 24/7 type of
Mhm.
thing. We feel that's bad for
Of
the
course.
kids going to school right there. Of course, that's heavy traffic time frame. The poor kids. Some can't drive as it is when they're 16, right, let alone have traffic. So they don't seem to think that it's an issue at the moment because there's no formal approval or moving forward.
Or application.
Right,
frankly.
basically an application on it, so they're gonna keep their eye on it from what I could gather. So we have to as well, and make sure that we, you know, stay on top of it. And then at that point, they agreed to, you know, to make a stance.
Right.
Of some sort.
So from NVCOG's position, they're just doing a review of zoning variance. It's, there's,
Yep.
they can't look at a zoning variance with the anticipation of an application in the future. They have to be, you know, shuttered to that aspect of it and just look at it on the merits of the variance as it stands before them. So they can't be swayed by the bias of a pending application, unfortunately. So that's why you know, we may not agree with the recommendations that are before them, but as of right now, they don't have an application for a massive distribution center generating a multitude of traffic through Southbury in order for them to address as of right now, so.
But we're going to respond immediately. I understand there is another application, and they changed it to 2 buildings so that they could more comply with the existing regulations, instead of one 270,000 square foot building, which is
I think that's
almost
been,
the size of the Middlebury Mall.
from what
I
I've
mean, the
seen,
Waterbury Mall.
that's been the proposal for a while now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was. they're
Is the
changing-
massive building with the inclusion of the Timex building, or multiple buildings even, looking through the
Yes.
old conservation
and
minutes and everything
500,
like that.
Employee parking spaces
Mhm.
also.
It's large.
Is there any data on, we read every day or every other day, incidents on I-84 where the traffic then is rerouted down South Main Street or Middlebury? And so it certainly affect all of our traffic, the road conditions, the
Can you
light
imagine that when
pollution.
that happens?
Right, when there's a shutdown and everyone uses Old Waterbury as a highway.
Or they get off and they go around and go up toward Middlebury that way?
Right.
What a nightmare that's
Or
gonna
they
be.
go down South Main Street here in Southbury if the.
Yeah,
if
through
the-
town, right, to get away from it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so
180.
is
gonna
there
be
any data from DOT on how often that happens? Because that would change South Main Street in Southbury in so many ways. Light pollution, noise pollution, air pollution, 24/7, 50 trucks. It's just, we
Yeah.
need to respond.
Southbury has a benefit and a detractor by being so close to the highway. And that's just a natural aspect of being a municipality with such ease of access. We're gonna get offshoots of people trying to avoid traffic. How it relates to a distribution center is a completely different story. Do we have any reports related to that? I likely no, I can almost guarantee no, but as far as reports related to traffic generation and coming off of
Incidents
the
on
highway,
84 that have, yeah, on,
Right.
is it 14, 15, 16, 17?
to
really?
my knowledge, there's been nothing done as of right now.
Okay, maybe we could investigate that to see.
And VCOG is an avenue that we could use to get research like this conducted, and I'd be happy to reach out to them to see if this is something that they could put on their,
Yeah,
list of opportunities.
great.
Anyone else on the distribution center? No? Okay. All right. Thank you, Nance. Let's see, next, members' reports, Affordable Housing Subcommittee. Bob Harrison, I also have something to add to the report when you're done.
Well, being the alternate on the commission, I defer to Bob or Ron unless they wanted me to carry on.
Oh, sorry, either one, anyone.
Well, we had a vivid discussion on, on doing something to attract people to build affordable housing in Southbury.
We gotta tell-
It's on. Okay. Excuse me. We had a meeting. We discussed ideas on how to attract people to build affordable housing in Southbury. We discussed the economic development.
Kevin?
Well, there's,
Kevin,
Kevin Bielmeyer?
we're talking about bringing Kevin Bielmeyer in to some of our meetings to get some thoughts on how he could potentially
Yeah.
get some momentum going for affordable housing.
Kevin has so much that he does here.
Yep. We have reached out to NVCOG to get ideas on different aspects, plans, what looks attractive, but that's kind of a moot point until we get developers to come in. We talked about forums, having a forum for developers, to bring them into town and to sit them all in a room and, what could we do as a town to make things more attractive?
Incentives.
Incentives,
Right.
correct.
Good.
We've talked about reaching out to Habitat for Humanity
Good.
to see, is that something that we can attract them to come into town?
AmeriCares.
It's another one that was not mentioned, but that's a good idea.
Okay, good. Well, that kind of parlays into it. I went to the Board of Selectmen meeting last month regarding the letter that was sent in by that grassroots organization in town that wanted to try to form the task force. And spoke at the Board of Selectmen meeting and gave my thoughts as the commission's thoughts as to why we didn't feel that that was necessary to have a task force in town for that when we already have a subcommittee. You know, the Board of Selectmen did and they didn't vote on it, but they took action on it and decided that it was not necessary. They were taking no action on it, and it's not gonna happen. And, you know, I spoke to them about, you know, the committee was just formed. You know, it's only been 6 months to a year. We're still in the incipient stage in that, you know, educational programs are being looked at, as you just mentioned, things like that. And our need is small at the moment. We're doing as many buildings as we can. I mean, we've already done 2 or 3 in town from Bennett that are fantastic, and there's other applications that are gonna come down the pike. So we're moving in that right direction. And I guess this other organization doesn't feel that we are. The Board of Selectmen feels that it's not necessary to have anyone else, and that they're gonna look to us in the next 6 months to a year to show progress regarding education, forum-style meetings, you know, to bring in, like you said, builders, education awareness for the town, whether we have to invite folks to the affordable housing meeting and explain what it is. Some people may not know what it is. Put something up on the website regarding, you know, the basic 101 of affordable housing, you know, things that nature that people can link into. We'll get Gosha to give us a hand with things like that. So they liked all this idea, so that was what's gonna happen for it. As well as, I got an email from the first selectman yesterday morning, and he did say that the Board of Selectmen's he's gonna put us up to the Board of Selectmen for approval for the Silver Aspect Award for the Sustainable Southbury for the subcommittee. So that would lock in the committee for being where it needs to be. And then eventually, as time goes on, as the committee grows, we add more people to it as we need to, and eventually it forms into a housing authority style committee, okay? So that's the ultimate goal of it all. If everyone's comfortable with that, that's what we're gonna continue to roll on that, all right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I think we have to be careful too with any entity that is accepting money, that has a financial interest in being a town commission, committee.
Can't.
You can't, that's a conflict,
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest. I can't do it.
absolutely, to accept land or money or any kind of financial support. We have to be careful.
Do you want me to mention that you have a meeting or no?
Don't think that's necessary. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So that's pretty much where we're at with that. So we'll get an update for next month, and I'll talk to you about some ideas too that we have additionally to that, or I guess I can call Alex too as well, and kind of go from there with that. And we'll get her more involved since she's chair of that, right? So,
Correct.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Do we have any input on how our brochure has been distributed or accepted or responded to?
I did reach out to Jordan to see if that could possibly be put out on the website, and I know that he was reaching out where that,
I dropped it in Gosha's hands, and I need to check back in to see what's happening with that, and I'd be happy to do that.
We could do an email blast to the town like we, on different programs, if we can get that approved. Of some sort, something like that, we'll come up with a campaign.
Yeah.
All right, and then we can get that approved by us, and then.
Yeah, the
for
more
selectmen to
information
move
we can
forward
get
on
out,
it.
the better.
Yeah. All right, so we'll put that on as a note to do as well. That's a good idea.
Okay.
All right, let's see, moving forward, minutes, from August 15th, 2023. I do not have them. Does anyone have? I don't. Debs, you have the minutes by chance? Let's see. All right. Absent was Kimberly and Robert Scarlett, so you guys can't vote. Kim's not here. So anyone have any thoughts, changes, additions to the minutes, August 15th, 2023?
I'm good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve them.
Move to approve as presented.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions? The minutes are approved. Thank you. Any other business properly brought before the commission? Anybody? Okay. All right, that's about a wrap then, I guess, right? All right. We'll adjourn at this moment if everyone's happy. Okay? I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.